patient Master Abhay Gupta, a 2.5-year-old Hindu male, a resident of Sector 12 Nerul East, Navi Mumbai, reliable informant being mother, was referred to the surgery department, surgical OPD, on 27th of August 2020 with the chief complaint of swelling of the right scrotum since 5 months. My patient was apparently all right 5 months
Okay.
back.
See, Ashish,
Yes,
when you mention the chief complaint, no, just
yes, sir.
mention the swelling in right side of scrotum. Okay. Don't mention
Yes, sir.
right scrotum. There are no two such things, right scrotum, left scrotum. If at
Okay,
all you
sir.
want to
Right.
mention that is a hemiscrotum, that is a right hemiscrotum, but that is again not, that will not feature in a history. That will be present
Yes.
in the examination. So when you're mentioning a chief complaint, you can mention that my patient is having swelling in his right side of the testis, in or right side of the scrotum since whatever time. Okay,
All right, sir.
fine.
So, swelling in the right side of the scrotum since
Mhm.
5 months. My
Okay.
patient was apparently all right 5 months back when he started developing a swelling in the right side of the scrotum, which has increased in size gradually. The swelling was associated with mild pain at the beginning. Uh, there is no history of fever or trauma associated on history of with the swelling. There's no history of burning micturition, no history of foul smelling urine, skin ulceration, or any previous hernia operations or any complaints. There's no history of asthma, TB contacts, or any birth injuries.
What is the age of the patient you said? I didn't get it.
2.5-year-old, 2.5.
It's a child basically.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here in the history, what is supposed to mention it either two things, whether it is was it present since birth or was it not present since birth. That is that main point of discrimination that is important, especially in a child. Because here we might be looking at a congenital hydrocele, which is almost similar to a congenital hernia.
Yes, sir.
The pathology is almost similar. The presentation is little different. So you have
Okay.
to be very specific and ask. Need to ask that the swelling is not associated right from the birth. Mother noticed the swelling only 5 months ago. There was no swelling whatsoever in first
Okay.
2 years of life, right? Because now the
Yes.
child is 2 years and 6 months approximately, and then since last 5 months, the person has started understanding about it. So
Okay, sir.
you try to put it accordingly. Hmm?
All right, sir.
Yes.
In the past history, the intrauterine history of the child was normal. The mode of delivery was cesarean, C-section, due to unknown causes. 1 year back, the child was admitted to THRC with the complaints of pneumonia, that with complaints of heaviness of breath, and was treated for pneumonia. In personal history, the sleep, appetite, bowel, bladder movements are normal. The child was breastfed till 6 months and then weaned off consequently.
Hmm.
The child has been vaccinated till date, 2 years old. Uh, Family history, there's no history of hypertension, diabetes mellitus, asthma, or TB. There's no history of bleeding disorders in the family. On general examination, my patient is
Why such
conscious.
history will change? I mean, change the outcome of the patient.
Depending on the, for if we take up a surgery, then we'll have to take these things into account. A TB contact or
Okay. Okay. In that context. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Means which other context you are looking for?
there could be hematoma, that is if a bleeding disorder, then the hydrocele could be filled with it could be a hematocele
Mm-hmm.
if there are bleeding disorders. So even a
Mm.
trivial trauma can lead to a
But if it is bleeding disorder, then it will be bilateral. It
yes,
won't be just unilateral. Only on one side it is present. So by and large, on my logic, it appears to be of congenital in origin as such. So now which points favor history that it could be a congenital hydrocele?
okay, so
You mentioned that it is not present at all, or rather the mother didn't notice it for earlier 2 years.
yes,
So that is not actually fitting into that congenital hydrocele picture. So
yeah.
what is the reason you feel from history?
could be any trivial trauma that could go unnoticed.
Trivial trauma. Okay. Now, as you're aware, in children, the cremasteric reflex is quite, uh, what we should say, more present or more pronounced. So it is not
Yes.
like an adult. So when some trivial trauma happens, the testis is there only. It gets retracted. Okay, we call it as retractile testis. So that phenomena is seen quite often when in the first 2 years, 2 to 3 years of age. So that's why the injury is quite unlikely in these children, unless some deliberate thing has happened when child is walking or fall, etc. Otherwise, it is a little unusual that traumatic origin of hydrocele in such a young child. Please start.
Uh, so, so we were discussing about the origin.
So, as I mentioned, traumatic appears to be little dicey in such a small child because of the good cremasteric reflex and testes get protected well in the inguinal canal. So, trauma is actually practically ruled out. The most common possibility is a congenital one. Now, the question remains why it was not obviously manifesting in the first 2 years of life and only started after 2 years and 1 month. That is since last 5 months. Now, how will you explain that?
Mm, It could be the trauma happened at 2 years of age or something related at that
No,
period of age. No?
no. Don't think of trauma here. Now
Okay.
think of the congenital hydrocele pathology, rather
All right.
pathophysiology, how it happens. So can you tell me?
So either the lymphatic drainage is obstructed
Hmm.
or the fluid is accumulating extra. That is the
Okay. So as you are aware, for everyone's help, that there is a small connection which is congenital in origin. So the processus vaginalis is present there throughout. It is not completely closed as it should happen at birth. Okay. So what remains usually in a scrotum or other around testes is tunica vaginalis. Fine. But here it is presence of fluid in any part of processus vaginalis. Now mainly we say is a tunica vaginalis. But in a child, there is a small communication, like a small pinhead type, between the peritoneal cavity and the TVH, or we say as such, tunica vaginalis. So that small opening actually allows it some fluid to go inside the scrotum slowly. Now this process particularly can become evident right at the birth or in the first year or maybe second year or in first few years of life. Now beyond that, as the child will grow, the spermatic cord gets developed. As you are aware by the embryology and anatomy, the deep ring and superficial ring are actually superimposed in a child less than 2 years of age. So this is a deep ring and this is a superficial ring. Now in an adult, what happens? Suppose this is a superficial ring, this is a deep ring, and in between there is an inguinal canal. Fine. So that thing is not existing in a child. So in a child, they both are superimposed. So actually the spermatic cord is coming directly and then going into the scrotum. So because of that, whatever possibility and theoretical explanation which you should give in the exams if such case happens to be your exam case. Fine. So for that, it is very important for you to understand and recollect the embryology as well as the normal anatomy. So once you recollect it very nicely, it becomes quite easy for you to correlate it. So we call it as clinico-pathological correlation. So
yes.
it is a clinico-anatomical embryological correlation actually. That is what is happening and that is what is useful. So again, it is congenital only, it is not at all. So unless there is an obvious history, don't include the trauma. Fine?
So you will still include this as a congenital anomaly then?
Yes.
Okay, so
Unless it is proven otherwise.
All right. Then I'll
Okay,
begin
then.
with general examination.
Mhm.
My patient is conscious and playful. He's well oriented with time, place, and person. Pulse being 90 beats a minute. Blood pressure was not taken. Uh, the peripheral pulses were felt. Temperature is normal. There's no pallor, icterus, sinuses, clubbing, lymphadenopathy, or edema. Gait is normal. And built and nutrition average build. Local examination. So on inspection, the skin and the subcutaneous tissue, the skin is tense with a well-defined globular swelling of 5 into 4 into 3 centimeter dimension, and there's loss of rugosities on the scrotum. The extent of swelling is the swelling is restricted to the scrotum. The surface is smooth. There's no involvement of the deep and the superficial inguinal rings.
Now, see,
Or
remember, Ashish, this particular examination you have conducted is in which position?
sitting position.
Sitting, how can you examine?
Uh, so then it will be standing position.
Yes, it's a child, na? So you
Yes, sir.
make the child stand on the examination couch, right?
Okay.
So make the child stand. Standing is the only single most important position that is required for any monoscrotal swelling to begin with.
Yes, sir.
Then later on, you can re-inspect the patient in supine position,
All
but
right.
always first in a standing position. Why? Because the maximum dimensions of the swelling can be appreciated well in a standing position, or any other apparent hernia which is otherwise hidden will become more apparent. We call it as
All right.
occult hernia. So it becomes more evident, such as umbilical hernia or some other part, say femoral, for example. So all other hernias will become more evident when you make a person stand. So only the
Yes.
patient stand. So especially in a child, you have to make him stand. Then only it is quietly visible. Sitting at all, you shouldn't mention at all. You can mention standing or supine. Supine
All
again,
right.
the child will not be cooperating so much as an adult. And you will ask child to cough and he will cough immediately. It won't happen. And up to that maximum result. So better to make the child stand and observe. Right? And that too again, not immediately. You make the child stand for at least a minute and then you examine. Because you
Okay.
allow it to become full. Then only the actual dimensions can be gauged. Okay?
Yes.
It's not that a child is standing and suddenly started examining. Sometimes there's a possibility that child was sleeping or child was supine for a long time and the swelling has disappeared. So mother mentions swelling practically is not present. So then you have to wait. Sometimes you have to wait up to 5 to 10 minutes when the child is standing. Then only it becomes evident because of the small aperture that is communicating with the peritoneal cavity and the actual sac.
All right, sir.
So now tell.
So, superficial and inguinal rings are not involved. Uh,
Mhm.
the cuff impulse negative. There are no scars of any previous surgeries, no dilated veins, no
Mhm.
redness of the scrotum. There's no fullness of the epigastrium or the left supraclavicular fossa
Mhm.
on inspection. Then on palpation, the temperature is normal, like the surrounding skin. There's absence of tenderness. The
No, no.
findings of
See,
inspection.
wait.
Yes, sir.
Now here, what is happening? You have forgotten part of inspection. I just told a minute ago. Just
Inspection.
hold on. I'm getting a call. Just hold on. Hello. Yes. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so
What did I
huh,
miss out in the
yeah.
inspection?
The position. No. You have
Okay,
examined the
should I?
patient in standing position. So you have to
Yes.
re-inspect the patient in supine position. Why? For all inguinal scrotal swelling, especially when you're anticipating a hydrocele or hernia,
Hmm.
to know spontaneous change in the size of a swelling.
All
Okay.
right.
So
Okay.
when, especially in an adult, for example, if there is a adult hydrocele or hernia, for example, if the patient lies supine, if it is hernia and if it is reducible type hernia, it will get reduced spontaneously to some or more or complete extent. However, if it is a hydrocele, it will not change in size when patient remains standing or patient remains supine. However, in a child, there is a possibility that there is a change in the size of a swelling, whether it is hernia or hydrocele, because these terminologies are almost same. There is no classical differentiation below 2
Yes.
years because there is no canal as such. So what we call it as a hydrocele only or hernia only. Fine. So that is why it is
Alright.
happening that you have to mention it as I have re-inspected the patient in supine position and didn't observe any change in the size of swelling over some period of time.
Alright.
So because you see there is a small aperture. Now what happens classically here, if it is a congenital hydrocele, the swelling won't reduce so fast. Why?
It'll take time to resolve, sir,
But what?
because of the
Why?
aperture.
Yes, one is the aperture, and what happens with the aperture? There is an inverse ink bottle effect. Now, what is this
Yes.
inverse ink bottle effect? To tell me.
In the textbook, it was not written what about it.
Okay. Now, since your generation is not exposed to the writing with the ink pens anymore, so you won't understand. But there is a ink bottle. If you remember, you can talk to your parents. So that ink bottle usually has again a small opening for the ink to be used by the pen,
Mm.
usually by the fountain pen. So if you invert that ink bottle, right, nothing will fall. Why? Because you require two apertures, one inlet and one is outlet. So, or there has to be an aperture which is slightly bigger. So unless the air gushes in, nothing will come down. Understand? If it's a very small aperture, so air will gush, but it will take a long time. So like inverted ink bottle effect, the swelling will not get reduced immediately, as in case of a hernia. Only thing it will take long time. So when the child is sleeping over a period of time, it will get solved. So in the morning, the child will not have any swelling. Mother will be also happy. The swelling has disappeared. But this is the cause. When the child is supine, the aperture is like this. So some air is there. So air is entering, fluid is going down. Okay. So it is to and fro motion. So that is an inverted ink bottle effect, classical. So if you have a chance and such a case, you need to mention this particular phenomena. That is because of inverted ink bottle effect phenomena, there won't be immediate reduction in the size of a swelling in such a child. It will happen overnight or over some period of time, not immediately. But as a protocol, you need to examine patient in a supine position. That is a reinspection. Fine?
Yes.
Okay. Now proceed to palpation.
Palpation, the temperature was normal, like this as of the surrounding skin. There was absence of tenderness. The findings of inspection were then confirmed. Then about the swelling. The shape of the swelling is ovoid with smooth surface, regular margins. The consistency is cystic, and I was able to get above the swelling. The
Okay, Ashish,
fluctuation. Yes,
sorry,
sir.
just to interrupt. On inspection, one crucial point which we have to mention, I don't know you have mentioned or not, whether you could see testes separately with the swelling or not.
It was posterior, situated posteriorly. That I've written with the
No, no,
palpation
on
part.
inspection, you could see the entire area of fullness on that side of a scrotum,
The
or you could
testis was not
appreciate.
was
So this is very crucial. Why it is crucial?
the location of the swelling that is
Not location.
determined.
Now here, what is important for you to know? The origin. So this is what idiopathic or primary hydrocele. In primary hydrocele, clinically, the testis is not separate from the swelling. It is engulfed in the swelling. While in secondary hydrocele, for example, mainly again in adult, because of testicular malignancy or because of tuberculosis or because of some other problem, the testis is separately visible and swelling is separately visible. So on inspection, this particular point you need to stress and tell that on inspection, I could not visualize the same side testis separately from the swelling. So itself
Okay.
it tells that it is a primary hydrocele. It is not a secondary hydrocele. Got my point? Same thing is true for adult patient. If the swelling is totally engulfed and you cannot see the testis separately from the swelling, it is a primary hydrocele. But if the testis is seen separately and on the top there is a swelling, it is a secondary hydrocele. Okay.
All right.
Now you proceed with the palpation. Just yeah, all the findings confirmed. Yes, consistencies.
The fluctuation test was positive. Transillumination test was positive. Reducibility is absent. Cuff impulse was absent.
Now, how do you do a fluctuation test? What are the prerequisites?
Sorry, sir.
What are the prerequisites?
That the patient, we should be firstly talking in the vernacular language, then all those which had written that.
No, that's okay. That is anyway for everything as such.
Yes.
But for the test per se,
I don't know that.
Why we are doing this test?
To see the type of swelling that is hydrocele or.
Okay. See, as you are aware, and as I tell in every clinic as such, each test is divided into 4 headings. Okay. What are the 4 headings? The first heading is the aim of the test. Why we are doing this test? So what is the aim of the test is fluctuation test, to know that given swelling is a fluid filled swelling. Fine. This is the aim to determine. Second, there are certain prerequisites before you attempt this particular test, any test. So what are the prerequisites here? The swelling needs to be tense and fixed. So if the swelling is tense and fixed, then only you will be able to appreciate the fluctuation phenomenon. Okay. Now it is based on which principle or which law as such? Fluid filled swelling. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Anyone can tell. Yes.
Pascal's law.
Yeah, Pascal's law. So now this is, see, you have to imagine everything. You have to imagine here. So it's a balloon, for example. So on one side, the swelling is fixed, okay, by maybe the assistant. Or since it's a small child, so you can do it with one hand also. That is not a problem. But then from one side, you have to make one set stationary and one set as active. When you press, the pressure wave will be generated and will pass on across the fluid, and your other set, which is otherwise passive, will move apart. So what it indicates that you have generated a pressure wave has been transmitted to the fluid, and you have perceived it at the other pole, and you have appreciated and proven that this is a fluctuation test is positive, or swelling is fluctuant, fluid filled swelling. Second thing, it tells that it is a unilocular swelling, or it is a single cavity swelling. It is not multiseptate. If it is a multiseptate swelling, the whatever you are generating will get divided subsequently till it reaches your passive fingers, and eventually it may not move. So actually the wave is going to be transmitted across. So these 2 points we actually can confirm with this fluctuation test. So final inference is the swelling is a fluid filled swelling. Okay. Understand? So this is a basis of fluctuation test. Now, depending on that, if this is true, then the next thing will come into picture. That is a transillumination. Now, how do you do transillumination? Now, what is the aim here of doing transillumination test?
To find out if it is a clear fluid filled swelling, or is it hematocele?
Yes, yes. So now here the main idea is to find out the content. So whether it is a clear fluid, or whether it is a turbid fluid, or whether it is anything, it means something different. So that is the aim. Again, the prerequisite is same. You have to fix the swelling, and you have to check it. Now here what happens, there are 2 options. Either you can do it in a dark room, or in a lighted room. You can use a roll of X-ray or a black roll. So through which you can actually visualize and keep just at the hydrocele, not near the testis, but on the opposite side. And you ask the assistant to throw light from other side. So the light will be transmitted uniformly inside, and that will be evident. Now for a thin walled hydrocele, it is very classically evident. It will glow. The entire hydrocele sac will glow nicely in a dark room. Or you can appreciate the glow through a X-ray tube, X-ray film tube, right? So this you can appreciate. So it tells you it is a fluid field which is already evident by fluctuation test, and it is a clear fluid, and it is not obviously showing any septations per se. Okay, so this is how it is evident.
All right, sir.
So these two tests are very, very important for you, everyone to know. And once you actually do the test, now here in a child, it is relatively okay because it is not that evident. But otherwise, you have to find out what is happening. In an adult, actually, you have to actually make it fix. And as some of you may have done it. Now, some of you may have done it, right? How many of you have done the test?
Probably so one batch would have.
So if you remember, that is obviously not so easy of doing actually the fluctuation and asking the assistant to do the transformation in a moderate to large hydrocele. So it is very important that one is well versed with the technique. So for adult, you have to use your two hands. Okay. Now out of these two hands, these two fingers, okay, the ring finger and the middle finger will play crucial role. Same for the opposite hand. Now you have to go at the bottom of the swelling and clasp like a crab and mix it, and then you have to approximate. So on the top of these hands, the swelling becomes prominent completely, the balloon. And then you have to make a set again like a crab, these two sets at two different poles. One is active and one is passive. So passive will not move. Most important, remember in exam, it is not like playing a video game. So you are playing continuously like this. So one set has to be stationary, other set you have to press and generate the wave will be transmitted, and it will be evident by slightly getting your other set of fingers separated. Now this has to be appreciated. And if I do want to do a reverse, fine. But this set has to be stationary. Sometimes the reason what happens, sometimes the candidates start doing the like a video game. It is not that fast. It is a very a gradual thing. And mostly all throughout, my hand is fixed, these two fingers. So eventually, actually, it will start paining if you are doing correctly. So but the swelling is quite like a balloon fixed on the these two fingers, ring finger and middle finger. On the top, one can actually see and perform the fluctuation test quite nicely. This is the most important part of hydrocele fluid examination or case presentation rather, the fluctuation and the transillumination. So once you do these two things, you are through. So now proceed.
All right, sir. The testes can be palpated posteriorly to the swelling. The spermatic cord is palpable. There are no lymph nodes palpable in the inguinal region. On the left side, its scrotum was normal. So I would like to perform a per rectal examination for palpation of the seminal vesicles.
Hmm. Now
My
here you
complete
have to
diagnosis.
also now you have to also mention about the cough impulse. Okay.
Cuff impulse
You
was
mentioned
absent.
I think inspection, no, right?
Inspection and palpation both I've mentioned.
Both. Correct. Now here it will not be evident as such, but as the aperture is very small, so the wave will not be transmitted like in an adult hydrocele or adult, not hydrocele, adult hernia actually. So please remember this thing. Though practically you know what is happening inside, you cannot prove it when you're doing the demonstration. That is a limitation. But yes, you have to be well versed this particular anomaly. Yes, go on.
Then I would like to I would like to perform a per rectal examination for palpation of the seminal vesicles. My complete diagnosis for the given patient is a right-sided, moderate-sized, thin-walled, uncomplicated primary tunica vaginalis hydrocele of non-infective etiology.
Okay.
I would like to investigate and prepare him for either hydrocelectomy or Jabel's partial excision and eversion of sac or Lord's plication.
Okay. So now suppose this is a congenital hydrocele. So how the treatment will vary?
So then it will be majorly first observation until a few years of age, because congenital hydroceles tend to regress after
Mm-hmm.
the
So how long we should observe?
uh, that I don't know. Sir.
You think that this is a, because this is a small child, 2.5 years old, hardly. So how
Yes, sir.
long one should wait ideally? See, because there is
By
no
the age of 5.
emergency, like
Yes, sir.
like hernia, there is no emergency. Once you diagnose, you have to operate at the earliest. Here, patient can wait if it is not changing that much in size. Now, over 5 months, it has not drastically increased, is it? It has progressively, slowly increased. So one can actually gauge maybe by waiting an year or so by how much change is happening in the swelling and accordingly take a call. Right?
Okay.
So minimum a year or two, you have to wait and see about the progression and any discomfort to the patient. If none is present, then you may wait till see the regression. If it is something is present, you have to go for a procedure. Now, what is the procedure of choice here?
So Jabella's partial excision and eversion.
No.
If
If
the
it is
it
a
is
congenital hydrocele, the procedure of choice is herniatomy.
herniatomy. Okay.
Okay, understand? See, the origin is from above.
Herniatomy or okay.
Herniatomy. Herniatomy. Remember, herniatomy is only applicable to children
All right.
because, as I told you, see, please get this thing very, very clear in everyone's mind. Congenital hydrocele and congenital hernia are almost similar. Okay, there's not much of a change. Hardly any intestine comes into the congenital this hernia. It is fluid only mainly. It is fluid that comes and goes. Same thing happens in a hydrocele. So it is a little bit clinical tricky entity, but the treatment remains the same. That is a herniatomy. So if you want to operate now also, say at the age of 2.5 years, it is possible, but the surgery is not hydrocelectomy, but surgery is a herniatomy because you have to go above, disconnect the connection in between and tie it off. That's all. Whatever fluid, it will get drained momentarily. That is, of course, in hydrocelectomy or in hydrocele procedures, you are draining from below. Here you are emptying it and closing the sac, if at all. So again, the result is same. But because you have disconnected the connection which is present congenital, you have actually eliminated the recurrence. But if you just do a hydrocelectomy here, and if it becomes, or rather, if it is a congenital hydrocele, it will recur because you have not disconnected the actual patent connection between through a small aperture. This is very important treatment option. Please remember, herniatomy is a treatment of choice for a small child around 2 years to 3 years. Above that, say 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, you can think if because the canal starts developing and there is unlikely to be a congenital hydrocele. But still on table, you can take a call. Hmm?
So what are the age restriction that is for Jabella's and Lord's plication both?
See, for Jabuli and Lord's plaque, Lord's of course is for small hydroceles, again in an
Yes.
adult actually. So in Lord's placation, what we do, we open the hydrocele sac and we just placate it all around. So this is a testis and this is a hydrocele fluid. So you have made opening, fluid is drained and the sac will, you have to just start placating from all around. So it gets bunched up and the testis remains on top. So like a thick collar, all the sac will get bunched up and will remain at the boundary and be outside. That is the Lord's procedure, Lord's placation, what we say. In Jabolis, you cut open and sometimes you have to remove part of it also. Same thing in Sharma and Javers. So here we have to
Yes.
do much more wider excision. So it's a partial excision and eversion of sac. So main thing in Jabuli and the Sharma and Javers is the eversion of sac. Okay, against the Lords. In Lords we do placation. In Jabuli and Sharma and Javar, we open it, we empty the fluid and we totally reverse it and suture behind the epididymis. Okay, so the surface is totally turned, secretory and absorptive. There are two surfaces, as you're aware. So we just reverse the physiology. So by reversing, there is a stoppage in this particular process of formation of a
All right.
fluid inside the scrotum. There is a momentary increase in size, but that will regress slowly in a due course of time. Anything else?
So with what all the age restrictions about them? Are there
Uh,
any age like even for our children like around beyond 3 years we can do Lord's plication or Jabulaise?
no, up to 5 years actually is a means actually cutoff time as such. So if the child comes in 2 years, unless it's a very large swelling, okay, large swelling, then you please go and do a herniatomy. That's fine. But
Okay.
suppose child is say, around 4 or 5 years old and a small hydrocele that is coming and going, typical mother's description, then you can wait. Don't do anything. Just educate them properly. What is happening? So accordingly, the child and the child's parents will understand the problem and they will means be more cooperative and then bring the child when he or she is ready to operate actually. So around maybe 10, 12 years, if it is still continuing, hydrocele is becoming a little more and more, then you can go for a surgery. But otherwise, you can wait till 5 years. Yes, any other questions?
Any more questions, please
So,
write in the
so,
chat.
so see the other theory questions like what is the composition of hydrocele, what are the uses of hydrocele fluid, etc. And you can read the theory part. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mainly here, important is how you present it, what points to note, the position while you're examining the patient, what main points you're supposed to look for. Like for example, on inspection, the testis cannot be seen separately from the swelling. It's very, very crucial point. Then re-inspection in supine position, also important point. Okay. Then other external genitalia as such. Because in a small child, you're not expecting anything much bad. So it is a straightforward case of congenital hydrocele. That is okay. And treatment, if you offer even a herniatomy, you will get full marks here, rather than mentioning a hydrocele procedure as such. Because to procedure to perform, it has to be totally confined to the scrotum. If it is not, then it won't be useful.
So what are the recurrence post herniatomy? Is there any recurrence for congenital?
No, no,
No
no, no
recurrence.
recurrence because you are disconnecting totally. The upper portion you are tying and keeping it inside. The lower portion also you are draining completely and tying off. So there's a totally disruption and disconnection of the congenital channel. No, no recurrence. Unless patient gets trauma later on in adult life and develops a hydrocele, it's a different thing. But no recurrence because of post surgery.
I guess no one is asking any question anymore. So one question is there. So why can't trauma be an etiology in this case?
I think I explained earlier because the child's age is very small and the cremasteric reflex is quite high at this age. So the moment it hits the scrotum, it testes won't remain there as such. Immediately they will get retracted. So where the energy will go, it will just disseminate in the surrounding. It is not going to affect the testes. Unless it's not going to affect testes, at the max, post-traumatic, there will be a small hematoma at the level of scrotum, not in the testis. So hydrocele formation is different, and just local hematoma formation is different because of trauma in such a child.
Right, so what is the role of sclerotherapy in the treatment?
Sclerotherapy has a role, but not in this particular case. Sclerotherapy has a role for recurrent hydrocele usually. When you have already disturbed the anatomy and there is a recurrence, small hydrocele. So at that time you can do. It is one and the same only, Sneha. It is not different. Manifestation is not different as an adult, that it is going to have a big expansile cough impulse as such. And this particular terminology is you have to use wisely, depending on the presentation. Now, when will you label it as a congenital hernia? When it is obviously, while examining, reducing completely. But when it is not reducing completely, it is congenital hydrocele because of the inverse ink bottle effect. Aperture is same, but the same because of the age again pattern, age criteria. So everyone needs to be very clear into this particular concept of congenital hydrocele and congenital hernia. Treatment remains same for both. Pathology inside remains the same. The presentation will change depending on the aperture size. Yes, it remains there. This is a communication. No? In a congenital hydrocele, cough impulse will not be manifested, first of all. And if at all it is manifested, then it is, you label it as a congenital hernia because the aperture size is little more wider. That is the only difference. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you, Ashish. You presented
Thank
well,
you, sir.
but important is you have to include the points which I mentioned, especially in
Yes, sir.
such a tricky case. If it is a adult patient, then it is a quite straightforward. And again, the main emphasis is on fluctuation and transillumination, how confidently you are doing it. That is why I make
All
sure
right.
that if anyone batch who has done a test, they will understand and how important it is to actually do the fluctuation test and transillumination test single-handedly, or sometimes with the help of assistants. But it is very, very crucial step in the hydrocele case, besides the history. And there will be, of course, some theoretical discussion post procedure or the post presentation rather. Fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You
So,
can take
any
the,
news about our prelim examinations?
I don't know actually. I've not received any update as such, but I will let you know. There will be some delay actually, 100%, because many things that amateurs are cancelling. So we have to adjust accordingly. But don't worry, I will let you know in time. It won't be, usually it is in somewhere in October, November, correct?
Yes, sir. It should have been September, October.
September and October first week, somewhere, no?
Yes.
So let us see. Give me a time, a week or so. I will let you know. But you mentally be prepared, no? That's fine. You are
Yes.
already done all the assignments very nicely, and now also we are conducting all the things. So I think that shouldn't be a problem for at least your batch, which is relatively much
Yes.
much sincere.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So there's one more question, sir. So can
Yeah.
we get above the swelling in the?
In your particular patient, please do not mention anything getting above, because something
Yeah.
that is coming from above, you cannot go beyond that. Okay. In an adult, what happens? What is the change here? What is the difference between a congenital hydrocele and adult hydrocele? In congenital one, it is coming from above and getting filled, right? In an adult, it is getting filled from below up. So up it is getting limited and confined. So that is why you can get above, no? So that is why it is very important that you mention it only and only in context with an adult, well confined hydrocele of moderate to large size, getting above the swelling, because you want to actually differentiate the or check the spermatic cord above the superior pole of the hydrocele and check the cough impulse. That is, it is not present. But in congenital hydrocele, it is not applicable. And please, please, please don't mention it at all whatsoever, getting below or something getting up in a case of a hernia. Okay, please don't.
Right.
Fine.
Any more questions, please? I guess there are none.
Okay. So you can take
Thank
the
you, sir.
attendance and submit to madam. Fine.
Sure,
Good.
sir.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Roll number 1 to 10.